Good Nature is written by Joseph Addison, an essayist of 18th century. Here he described about the nature of a good person, then how good nature is agreeable than a witty. After that he said artificial good nature is good first, but then it will be exposed and you will be dereputed. And the next point he focused is that education, no doubt, education which will not create good nature. Good nature is an inborn quality. Then he cited some examples to state this, to prove this with the help of Xenophon. Then he took the example of, contradictory characters, Julius Caesar and Catus. And after that, he has said about the rules of moral virtue by good nature, that a man who possesses will be praised always. Okay, let us discuss one by one as the steps has been told now. Ready? Start. According to Joseph Addison, the nature of a good passion combines the following. Number one, he who bears others always, and he who is non contradictory, he who has compassion and humanity, he who is friendly to all, I mean enemy free, he who is justice guided by nature, he who is always ready to serve the mankind. Such people are said to be persons of good nature. According to him, man is subject to innumerable pain and sorrows by the very condition of humanity, and yet, as if nature has not shown evils enough in life, we are continuously adding grief to grief and aggravating the common calamity by our cruel treatment of one another. Right? Here, what he says, man is subject to, means man is the cause of his own pains and sufferings by the very condition of humanity. And yet, as if nature had not shown evil, nature has not created the evil for you, and you who are continuously adding pains and grief after grief. And the situation is also aggravated, right, by cruel treatment to one another in the society. Every man's natural weight of affliction is still made more heavy by envy, malice, treachery, and non-justice behavior towards the neighbor or towards the people around you. At the same time that the storm beats on the whole, species, we are fall upon one another. Here he stated the behavior of the people, arrogant behavior of the people, and who are out of good nature. Half of the misery of mankind would be reduced, that is, underlying cause that lie under, by mutual compassion, benevolence, and humanity. He said that we are responsible for the misery of our life, and if we will be guided by compassion and nature, by benevolence and humanity, we will give importance to. There is nothing that we ought to encourage more in ourselves and in others, rather, not the disposition of mind, but the very good nature, and this is one the subject of speculation. Good nature is more agreeable. See, this line is very important. Good nature is more agreeable than wit, and even gives certain aid to continuance, which is more amicable, means friendly, than beauty. It shows virtue, means the good natured people are virtuous by nature in its first share, takes up some measures of fully and im- impotence and deformity and wholly supportable. Here he said that the artificial, good nature, the show of good nature is very dangerous in later stages of life. It's an inborn quality, but it should not be, showed up. But maximum people, what happen? They are showing, they are developing artificial good nature. That means they are double standard. Some way they say so that they are good, but inside they are different, and this is very dangerous. And in future, it will defame you. What Joseph Addison want to say you. Then he says, there is no society or conversation that can be kept up in the world without good nature. Means there will be no society without good nature. Of course, good nature is there. No, this is the very reason why mankind has forced to invent a kind of artificial humanity termed good breeding. And he says that we are imitating others, uh, imitating the good nature. Means we are showing that the mimicry of this, which is not real. No doubt, it will make you popular, yes, for some time. Your hypocrisy and sycophancy nature will be disclosed very soon, and then what will happen? You see. So he appeals people naturally, good nature should come out of him, out of his heart, rather than created. So here is the difference: created and imitated. So he supports created good nature and denounced artificial good nature. For that, he has cited the example of Xenophon. Regarding Xenophon, he said that he is an imaginary prince whom he deceives a patron of real ones, and so on as always celebrating event from his childhood to the different part of his life, even on his death, being pleased when his soul would return to the maker, his body would incorporate with the great mother of all things. So he said about the body and the soul. By that means, some beneficial to mankind. You are born to do something good for the society, for the mankind. You are not just to show off. This is the very reason why he ordered his sons to ensign it in gold nor in silver, but to light in the earth as soon as the life has gone out of it. That means he said that you should be such a good nature that after your death also you will remain alive. Yeah, such instances would never have been cited by any writer. Yes, unless he do possess such great ideas and benevolence to mankind. Means a person who is of good nature, he always dedicates his time and service for the well-being of mankind, and he lives in the minds of the people. Okay, this is one kind of nature he has said. Then he has given a contrast character explanation. Here he has taken the example of Julius Caesar, and the opponent character is Catus. Both used to go in different direction. One is good nature and lover of justice, and another is cruel by nature. So what happens in the end? The man who is good natured is always worshipped by the people. On the other hand, that was the Julius Caesar. Amen. Yeah, during his rule in Roman Empire, it has been seen that the people has dropped down the photos of the gods and put the photo of Julius Caesar and worshipped for his noble deeds. Yes, it's not quite surprising that the people believe person as God if his services are left to the mankind. But on the other hand, people will denounce the persons like Catos who are cruel by nature, right? Who cause disturbance to human life or who disturbs the society. That what he says here is that one should be like Caesar, then he can depict his own. The reason behind a good natured man may sometimes bring his wit and intelligence in question is perhaps because he is apt to be moved with compassion, right? Or for those misfortunes or infirmities which another would turn into ridicule, and by that means gain the reputation of wit. The ill-natured man, through though but of equal parts, gives himself a large field to expatiate in. He exposes those fragilities which other would cast a veil over, laugh at vice, which the other either excuses or conceals, gives utterance to reflections, which the other stifles or falls indifferently upon friends or enemies, exposes the person who has obliged him. In short, it means not to be associated with anything that may establish his character as a wit. It is no matter of wonder for one who opts for different method is more likely to grow richer than the fair trader, but it is better to be a person who is a man of humanity. So, in this paragraph, he tells us about the people who are wit and good nature. What difference you can find out here? Good nature people are always good from inside, but wit means the intellectuals show something, but really they are not. It is the misfortune. They don't have the compassion. Joseph Addison says that naturally a good natured person possesses compassion, right? That means they understand the pain and feeling of others imposing on themselves. That's the things makes them, praised and loved one. Then the witty man, on the other hand, is very cunningly maintains humanity. In the next paragraph, he speaks about the moral values or moral virtue of a good natured person. Here he has referred Dryden also. The good nature which person possesses, whether it is from body or mind, or in animal or rational part of our nature, the satisfaction and contentment of mind, which is its solution, and the way it is received in the world matters much. There are certain rules that need to be followed, said Addison. The first one is whatever the situation be, whether it be of adversity means bad or prosperity means good, the very steadiness that is what needed in a person. Yes, that can build the considerable moral virtue. The second or the next one is the bringing one's own good nature to test. Yeah, whether it operates according to the rules of the region or duty, and notwithstanding it is general benevolence to mankind. Yeah, with no distinction, with no distinction either in behavior or in object. The third rule, what he stated regarding the moral virtue, is that the third trial of good nature is to examine whether he or we would risk our health, name, fame, reputation, etc. The quality would take the name of charity in general, as it consists in relieving the indigent or the very nature of this trial. Then he said that the very trait of good nature need to be proposed as rules to one who are having competence in fortune more than sufficient for the necessary of life. Okay, this very practice would be an offering to him, or he and she can measure the moral value from inside. Another important character that he stated is that a good natured person always goes for sacrifice, right? And he said there are certain instances, the people who, in spite of having excess income, fail to do charity. Charity is a kind of sacrifice. That he has stated the case of, Eugenius, Eugenius. By doing charity, one can be the part of contribution in making the life of the indigent livable. Yeah. So here he focused on sacrifice one can make. Only good natured people can make sacrifice rather than the rich people. In the last part of the essay, discussed about charity, sacrifice. In what does Sir Thomas Brown says in this regard? In his last part of Religo Medici, in which he described his charity in several heroic instances and proverbs of Solomon. He stated like this in quotation, it is written, you see, he that giveth to the poor lendeth to the Lord. That means service to people is service to God, like this. This is a philosophical talk. People believe all around that whatever services you do for the human being, for the mankind, and you are doing service to God. If this only piece of proverb is being understood by, you know, any passion or the reader, then things are very clear. What he says is, yeah, and we then not require those volumes of instructions, but might be honest by an epitome. The page of the scripture is quite persuasive, and the same thought is carried forward. When the very word said by the Saviour that he shall hereafter regard the clothings of the naked, feedings of the hunger, and visitings of the imprisoned as the offices done to himself, reward them accordingly. Here all he talks about the charitable nature of human being is also a sign of good nature, what he says. Who? Sir Thomas Brown. He says, what I spent I lost, what I possessed is left to others, what I gave away remains with me. So the thing, the last one is very important. What I gave away remains with me. Okay? This is an ideology of charity, what he speaks about. Then he tells that a person who is believed that the saying of a sacred writ, one cannot, you know, means restrict oneself from making extract of several passages, which the essayist releases the book of Job. In this, we come to know about the account of the holy man's behavior in prosperity. Simply, as a human being would be considered the finest picture of a charitable and good natured man, then he is to be met with any other author. The accounts of God's protective nature. When his candle shined upon my head, he says like this: when by his light I walked through the darkness, here he means the light of the God. Okay, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were about me, I washed my steps with butter, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil. He says that the blessing of the God and the sort of protective guide in the prosperity of the being, the goodness that a man, that a person does it pay in all the measures, whether it be through sense, such as when the ears are heard me, then it blessed me. When the eyes are saw me, then it gives witness to me. Yeah. So why should not one go for charity? Here, uh, Thomas Brown's last part of Religo Medici, he says about the greatness of God. If God has given you everything, why cannot you feed and hunger? Why cannot you supply cloth to a naked person? Why cannot you help others? You cannot if you don't have that good nature. Good nature is that property that a person possesses by which he can render the service of God or service to God through people. It's a blessing. Good nature is a blessing one should have. He and she can provide some services to the mankind to rebuild the society, to provide justice, and so on. Right? So it is philosophical thought he has described here relating to uh, God's service to man and man's service to God through man. To some of the keywords of Joseph Addison relating to good nature, he said, there is no society or conversation that can be kept up in the world without good nature. This is the very reason why mankind has been forced to invent a kind of artificial humanity termed as good breeding. Okay, and he said the second point, he said that this artificial good nature will not help you for a long time. In the last part he refers to the proverb that he has mentioned, Thomas Brown has mentioned in his last part of uh, Religio Medis. Here two things are focused: service to mankind is service to God, one thing, yeah, and the Solomon's proverb, he who has given to the poor, he has given to Lord. That is the way. By this he linked uh, this content with his essay, Good Nature. Thank you very much for watching.